On today's episode of Beauty Behind the Brand, we have Charla Jones on, and we are talking all things oil, self-care, as well as creativity, and how she started her brand from the sourcing of the most incredible ingredients. So let's dive into this episode because it will just keep you in the most zen, calm, you're gonna feel so relaxed after this episode. So let's dive on in. I've got Charla with us today. I'm excited to hear your story and just learning how you got to where you are. We were just chatting before the call and all the directions you were saying that in the threads that have led you to where you are. And I think that's a huge part of entrepreneurship is trying different things, learning what suits you best and being okay with taking those leaps and feeling what suits your personality, your ventures, your passion and what lights you up. And you have the floor. I'm excited to hear all about it.
Well, thank you, Nicole. It's great to be here, and I could not agree more. You know, Being an entrepreneur it's an act of courage, and it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of curiosity, I think, to sort of be good at it. And a lot of us, I think, probably end up being entrepreneurs because we are curious people, and it takes us a little while maybe to we want to be spend our energy with something that keeps us intrigued and keeps us engaged, and we need that factor of intrigue, and
Mhm.
an entrepreneurship is definitely something that does that. I mean, personally, I read a Harry Cruz quote years ago, and it's always sort of stuck with me. It's a writer of, a flawed, sort of one of those Southern writers from the United States, and he talks about well-rounded people, and I never wanted to be a well-rounded person. And he talks about the fact that he doesn't admire well-rounded people because, and it's true, I think, as far as I can see as well, that he says it in the context of, he says, nothing good in the world has ever been done by well-rounded people. The good work is done by people with jagged edges, and these broken jagged edges that cut things, can cut through things, and leave an imprint. And it takes courage and it takes curiosity to cultivate jagged edges, and it takes a lot of and you have to be interested and passionate in order to do that. So that, in a nutshell, would describe my circuitous path to becoming an entrepreneur in skincare and wellness. I've done a lot of different things, but I would say that a lot of my world, all of my jobs have had an entrepreneurial bent to them, even though they've been in fields of completely different fields from what I'm currently doing. But that the thread that has linked all of those things, I would say, is reverence, my deep reverence for creativity. And I would say that that is the thing that it gets me up in the morning, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. I believe that creativity is something that's so deeply human and so important to our humanity. And I think that beauty is its call. I think, one of my previous work that I did before starting EU2BE, I I ran a marketing communications agency here in Boston. I upstarted it here in Boston, and also an office in Paris. And I worked in a field that I had absolutely no experience in whatsoever. I worked with people in nanotechnology, biotech. I mean, big, really important, medical devices, semiconductors. I had no idea what a semiconductor was before starting doing that job. But I could relate to the engineers and I could relate to the people doing this work because they were deeply passionate. And there's a lot of chemistry and science and mathematics. And there's something true when you talk to mathematicians. It's like, how do you know when how do you know when it's right? How do you know when it's good? And a lot of them will tell you, it's perfect when it's beautiful. And I think that this is something that we all know and it's inherent in us. And we all have a call to beauty. We all have a call to, understand and, understand and are healed by that call. Like today in my business, I mean, there's just a proliferation of skincare and beauty companies. And it's not just, like there's just so many aspects of it. Uh, there's just no, there's just, it seems endless actually. Um, and, it's kind of it's not only a way that people are using to define themselves and to engage creativity, which I think is great. I think that's one of the reasons why it's so big right now is because skincare is a singular way that you can make choices about who you are, how you want to engage yourself, about your values, how you choose the products that you use, the types of products that you use, the people you rely upon to inform your stories about skincare, setting up your rules. And so, yeah, I take issue, however, because I think that in all of that, some things can get lost. Some
Mhm.
fundamental things about beauty can get lost. Number one, when you're operating with these externalized standards, and the standards have not been judicious historically. There are particular standards of what beauty looks like. And I love that that is radically changing and it's opening to include so many more of us. And I think that this democratic process is a very good one, um, because we need it, because the standards that we had in place really did not, they were anti-beautiful because it told you that if you didn't have a particular color hair or skin or type of body type or that sort of thing, there was something wrong with you. So, I work in an industry, particularly with skincare, that is largely focused on corrective measures. And I think the kind of beauty that U2BE stands for and what we're all about is the beauty of you becoming your best you to be, really nourishing that part and defining that part of yourself. And um, so one of the things I've learned in the process of doing this work, outside of creating formulas, creating unique proprietary formulas that are centered not around the typical things. It troubles me that people buy skincare products, like skin care products, like based on the scent alone. Like that's, you need skincare because your skin actually needs certain ingredients topically in order to maintain its health. If you don't do that, I mean, most of us, a great many people, and even if you don't have dry skin, your skin just changes over years, and you need topical application. It's just it's kind of fundamental, I think.
So, I got a beauty tip from one of my 90-year-old clients the other day, and I am so glad I asked her. Her hair was just perfect, her skin was glowing, and I had to ask her what she was doing differently. And she said she ended up purchasing one of the Blissy pillowcases online, and she's so glad she did. It is a luxurious Millbury silk, ultimate comfort and quality. And I mean, quality is perfection. They come in different colors, different shapes, depending on your pillow size. And after using it for a few months, I definitely noticed a difference in my hair not being as frizzy, my skin feeling just more hydrated and not as dried out with those cotton pillowcases. We reached out to Blissy and they're actually offering an exclusive $20 off when purchasing with our link below. So make sure to click our link in the show notes to get your Blissy pillowcase $20 off, and you will thank me later.
I've discovered a fundamental truth, I think, which is we learn about skincare from the people who cared for us. And if you had a mom, an aunt, a grandmother, if those people weren't teaching you about skincare, how to do it, what to do, and the elements of it, I mean, that sort of explains why there's a proliferation of YouTube people, sort of teaching, skincare. And I just don't think that real knowledge and insight comes from someone who discovered it in their youth or even in their, even later in life. But I think the proverbial 10,000 hours is appropriate. And when you look at skincare that comes from centuries of practice, centuries of exploring knowledge and uncovering insights, it's a very different way in. And so that's really kind of like those are sort of I've weaved together a whole bunch of stuff here, but
No, it was
that's
beautiful. So well done. Because I love the way you're talking about like even skincare is the creativity, but I also find too it's like such a culture at the same time. Because I love traveling and learning about different ways that people incorporate different things that are naturally found in their environment.
yes,
Um, like we were just in Italy, for example, and just learning about like the olive oils, and we were at the spa and I was looking at all the different olive oil skincare products that they have with the olive
yes,
and the extractions of them. And I just think that
yes.
it's so interesting to learn how creative they get with all the different products that are available. Now, was that something when you were creating your products? Is that something you found kind of was your calling as of the creative side of creating that product that
Yeah.
what was like the first kind of aha moment for you to realize that you were going to start this business and create something?
Well, I don't know that I had an aha moment. I've been, so U2BE is so part of U2BE is named after I had this incredible, stylish, world traveling, just amazing aunt, Eugenia. So that's part of the U, she's the U in U2BE, who really helped me who was extremely creative and a woman before her time. And I had my maternal grandmother, who was a woman who came, both women were from the South. My maternal grandmother is someone who had a sixth grade education, part of the Great Migration story in America. And she got work as I think like as a barmaid or something like that. But she was an amazing cook, like amazing. And she ended up owning this speakeasy where jazz greats and blues greats would travel, because in those days that's where they played. It was amazing. It was amazing kind of place. um Stage, it had a bar, it had a restaurant, it had everything that you would need when you arrived to that town, to that city. Anyway, she also played a pivotal role because from before I could even know that I was a me, I was my mother would tell the story of me crawling to the refrigerator and like being with the ingredient, the vegetables and stuff. And I was always in the kitchen. I was always learning about ingredients. I was always learning about, and she taught me so much about cooking. So ingredients, so you combine these different things. I've always been um, interested in where things come from. Always, because of her background. I mean, she always had a garden, so I understood the importance of food coming out of the ground and was part of that, like helping her in the garden and things like that. Um, and I I just so it wasn't far afield for me to think about is when I was, I mean, skincare is has been fundamentally a part of just maintenance. It's and of care. Self-care has always been something that has been a tool. It's been a refuge. It's been a necessity, because when you don't have beauty standards on the outside that are enforcing anything about your beauty or people who look like you create those standards within yourself, within your own with you create your own guidelines. And so we've always understood, if you're a person of color, we've always understood that your skin tells a story before you open your mouth. And I think a lot of people don't discover that until they get their first wrinkle or they have something happen to them or something like that. And then it's like, oh my God, skin. I need to take care of it. And taking care of my skin it's just been a fun. It's like eating. It's just fundamental. And and though there were a lot of products that actually made my skin feel or gave me what I wanted from products. So I have been experimenting and like buying this product and mixing it with that product. That's just been going on forever. So it's sort of U2BE is an evolution of all of that, and a lot, I mean, way more than 10,000 hours. But it comes from skin health. It comes from this idea of taking care of all of you. When I tell someone I have an award winning skincare line, they start telling me about their complexion. That tells me what they learned in their, like where that conversation gets centered for them. And for me, the conversation about skincare is about all of you. And your face is just a smidgen of a part of it. And it's really about where you live, these incredible bodies that we live in that give us the agency to be here. And that skin needs so many things. And it's up to us to take care of it like anything else. So so that the process of making these products is so, I loved it, because like you, I traveled the world. I have ingredients that come from all over the world. And the ingredients that I selected for U2BE are the ones that have cultural significance. They are the ones that have been used generationally. They are ones that appear in sacred ceremonies. There's some spiritual piece to them in some way. And the thing that people don't know or appreciate, I think, about these oils are that not oil, not all oils are the same. They behave differently. They have different properties. They're just as different as vegetables. Like, just think of vegetables or think of fruit. I mean, it's just a range of things, a range of flavors, a range of aspects that they bring. An orange is high in vitamin C. An apple has a whole other dynamic. So there are just different things that you get from these different oils. And another, I think, if I can share a few insights about products and product development and formulation, you have to have intention when you do a formula. It's like, what is it that you're looking to do? And if your formula is if your formula is about the scent, you have to arrange that formula to carry the scent. And if your product is about skin health, then you formulate for skin health. It's hard to do both. It's hard to have a skincare product for your body that is, that's firing on all cylinders in that respect. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's challenging. You need some sophisticated chemistry, I think, to kind of pull that off. When it comes to what are the things that skin really needs, skin doesn't need essential oils. Essential oils are the ones, lavender and orange blossom and that sort of thing. If you take an essential oil and you put it on a piece of paper, within, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, it'll evaporate. It does the same thing on your skin, and they're very powerful. If you take a carrier oil and like olive oil, and you put that on a piece of paper, it'll be there for a long while. And they're called carrier oils because they are actually the silent workhorses in a formula. They're the ones that do the work. They carry the benefits, they carry the other ingredients in the formula into the skin. And if you don't have a range of them, and I think a lot of products don't have a lot of them, they have some of them. But you need U2BE, we have tons of them. Our entire formulas are based on these sorts of oils because these are the oils that really bring the essential fatty acids that your skin needs but can't produce. It delivers the naturally existing kind of magical ingredients, like retinol and, everyone, squalene and like all of these different things where you read products that those ingredients that jump off those chemical sounding ingredients that jump off the page, those are naturally existing in carrier oil. So they are the one, and those are the things that, your skin does need to respond to them. But you're talking about being able to get them into your skin, and that's and so we work, our products are made with what's called biomimetic carrier oils. It means your skin recognizes them, they know what to do with them, it's like easily absorbed. So when you're in Italy and you're putting these incredible olive oils on your skin, I mean, and on your hair, it's great. And the only thing you have to watch out for, and this is something else that I learned in the formulation process, is that in the US, and I think this is true internationally, an ingredient like olive oil, and there was a whole scandal about this a few years ago, because what was happening to lower the price of olive oil, if you can call something olive oil if you have a certain percentage of olive oil in it. And this is a little technical, but it's just something for people to think about when you're making these choices.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to economize and you're economizing in that way as a formulator, imagine the quality of olive oil that you're using to begin with. So there's that. Whole ingredients are so important. And I advise people, if you can't afford, expensive, or, if it's this idea of expense for certain products, just use natural whole oils because they're so good for your skin. And, because you can call something olive oil if it has a certain percentage of olive oil, and the rest of the oil could be like soybean oil or any other kind of oil that does any oil. Your skin is, like it's sebum, it's like it's oil. So it will respond, even Vaseline, it responds to any oil, but what is it doing? The question is, what's the effect and what's it doing? But that's not, you're buying, you want olive oil, you want the benefits of the of olive oil, and not like, say, soybean oil or something like that.
Well, it
that was
becomes
really,
like a filler. Like I think of that
it
when we're
is.
selling our
Yeah.
professional line, even at our spa. It's like people are like, "Oh, this is a little bit more expensive." I'm like, "Yes, but you're actually getting more product. It's not
Yeah.
full of
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And you,
oils and waters and."
yeah. Well, and it's like there are a lot of filler ingredients and there are a lot of ways. I mean, it's like you have to make choices. And I think there are ways to navigate, you know, how do you what you buy and how
And how
what are
it's
the
being
things that you're buying.
absorbed, like how it's being absorbed. Like we talked about that. I remember in aesthetic school, even talking about like petroleum jelly and things like that, like how they're
Yeah.
creating these products are actually kind of wild to me that they're even able to sell them. And it's what's safe to your skin, right? Because it's getting absorbed into our bloodstream, and as well as that what we're preventing, like
Yeah.
illnesses, cancers, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think people sometimes realize that of what we're actually putting on our skin has more than just the outside of what it's doing. It's doing a
Mhm.
lot to the internalness of our body and the routine, right? I love like what you were saying about kind of creating like that routine. It's just like eating in the morning and having your routine. It's part of like who you are. Like I wake up in the morning and do my skincare routine or my nighttime routine without even thinking about it, and kind of make
Yeah.
that sacred time that you have.
It is. It is. And
It's like the ritual in the morning and at.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one of the other things I strongly believe about skincare is that nature designed us in a way that's, first of all, it's factually true. Skin is, I mean, everybody, I don't know any people who don't know that skin is your largest organ. But what I like to say is it's not just that it's your largest organ, it's implicated in so many aspects of your overall health, like your health, your hormones, like
Mhm.
your it's your first line of defense in your immune system. It's implicated in so many things. And the thing about skin is it's fascinating. I mean, it evolved to be this thing that gives you sovereignty. It separates you from the outside world. And that's just incredible to me. And this protective, this like imagine the resilience. I mean, I know there's a lot of language that talks about skin, like it's so delicate, and skin is resilient because skin takes care of you even when you don't take care of it.
Mhm. And
Um,
it tells you
that
things, like, if you're getting
it
a rash or
absolutely.
rosacea, it's like, "Oh, my
That's
body's
right.
off or my
That's
hormones are
right.
off," right? And
That's
it's
right.
very
That's right.
you gotta
It
listen to
is.
it.
That's right. There's a reason your doctor wants to see you because your skin does tell a story about what's going on in the inside, as well as, forecasting. If, skin is, has this, skin is a platform of power in that if you have beautiful skin, beauty is powerful. So it's like you have an opportunity, there's that, let's say. But
Mhm.
I just want to say something, so skin is pretty amazing in the way that it functions, in the way, and we don't really, we talk about feeding our skin, which is not, it's not a digestive organ, it's an exfoliating organ. And it's not exactly true. There are very few things. I mean, there's so much technology that is in place. And I worked with these guys to like, how do you get medicine into the bloodstream? It's not true that you put something on your skin and it immediately goes into your bloodstream. It can. There are certain oils. Castor oil is an oil that has the ability to seep in and, deeper than some other oils. I mean, they're not, as I said, they don't all behave the same way. And Vaseline, it just is sort of like coconut oil. Coconut oil just like it sits on top of the
Yeah.
skin. So and skin needs to breathe. And I'm not saying I'm not a proponent of Vaseline. Um, I mean, I think actually there are some vegetable based products like that where when you need blockage, like full
Mhm.
on block, I think it's a good thing. But what you need is you do need to get skin is all about balancing a between water and fat. I mean, It is all about what is that balance that works for your individual skin, um, and creating that balance so that it can function properly.
100.
And I think it does best with natural ingredients. I fundamentally believe that, just because if if our human ancestors, they discovered this stuff and they practiced this stuff, and they did this because, and I mean, and it survived all these years, and it helped them to survive. So I think we can take a hint.
And it's I love learning, like, I think of that what you were saying about the generations, like, I remember just even how my grandmother would, like, wash her face and put her creams on, or whenever we would stay at her house, that was always something she "Could we have to wash our faces before bed?" Even though I was like, "I'm not wearing makeup because 'cause I'm how
But
young," but how important it's that, like, just the routine, and my mom
yeah,
in the beauty industry as well. She's a hair stylist, and same thing. She was always incorporating that into the routines, or I was sneaking into her bathroom, seeing what kind of cream she had to,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
try. But I think
yeah,
that's a huge part of, like, making it, like, part of a ritual, bringing it into your life,
yes,
and really honoring yourself, right? And taking care of
absolutely.
yourself is so important because that's priority, I feel like, is having
Yeah.
a moment to just take care of
Well,
yourself too.
one of the I admit this the point when I brought that point up about the implication of skin, and not just that it's the organ and what it does, but I what I started to say is nature created us in a way that skin is implicated in our care of self.
Mhm.
Our bodies need to feel cared for. And I love that the studies are just now, they're starting and they're being surfaced. The relationship to mental well-being, emotional health, and skincare for the body, and even for the face, the routine of sitting down. Now, I think that there's a tendency towards some narcissism there, where people are just obsessed with achieving perfect facial skin. I always come back to, look, you live in a body, and that body needs to feel cared for. And there are certain things and certain types of care that only you can give it. And it is a practice, like yoga, like any other kind of practice. And it's the thing, you may not make it to yoga class. You may not be able to run the miles and get out and do all of the different things that we know make us feel good and give us a sense of health and well-being. But
Mhm.
what you can do, you're going to take a shower at least over 48-hour period. You're going to be in the shower, and we know the power of water, and we know how the effects that that can have, and we know the power of touch. It doesn't even take 5 minutes to moisturize your body. It just doesn't. I mean, if you're doing it mindfully with care and you're doing extra attention, sure, you can take a lot of time to do that. But it's a practice you can engage every day, and the rewards are just incredible. They're really quite powerful, and it's in our hand. Like, we have the ability to deliver this to ourselves. So I'm and also all of these things together, just to bring it back around, you know have they tie in to creativity in a way, because our creativity, like, where does it come from? And when we engage with our bodies and we open ourselves, we we are stimulating dopamines, and there's a whole chemical reaction that happens that really can avail us to that flow that is so critical to tapping into our creative self.
Hey everyone, it's Nicole Mannion here. As someone who's built two successful beauty businesses, Muskoka Aesthetics and Muskoka Beauty, I know firsthand how important it is to have the right tools to grow your brand. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Shopify. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, Shopify is the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to create your own online store and start selling. With powerful tools to help you manage everything from inventory to marketing, Shopify is your go-to place for entrepreneurs like us. Plus, they have 24/7 support to keep you on track. Ready to get started? Click the link below in our show notes to get started today with Shopify and enjoy your Shopify journey today.
There's a reason why the Romans took baths and Cleopatra. Like there's when you talk to creative people, they have these rich bodily these they're taking care of themselves in this way. A lot of folks that we admire, like painting out of the bathtub and painting it from the bathtub.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that because just the actual being able to care for yourself. The body is we're learning so much about, like, we think of smarts coming from the brain, and what we're uncovering is that the real intelligence, this incredible intelligence that is in our bodies. And when you care for the body, you're tapping into that pre that pre I'm spacing on the word, but you know what I mean,
Mhm.
that that animal, like deep place that is there, and all of those lessons through centuries and centuries of human life.
I
Yeah,
feel like I get my best ideas when I'm in the shower, when I have no distractions.
that's true.
And I love actually, I believe my sign is water anyways, but like just being in nature, or if you hear water, is
Yes,
taking the moment to enjoy it. Because even
yeah,
though, if you're like, same thing, while we were away on a holiday, I feel like I always just try to like decompress, but I get the best ideas when I'm
it's true.
actually,
That's scientifically proven.
yeah, I'm like,
That
I
is
could be
scientifically
stressing.
proven to be true. That
Yeah.
it's yeah. And it's scientifically proven. I mean, it's just it is. And the power of touch,
Yes.
and it's just and so I think these are things that everyone, no matter who you are, you can avail yourself. You can do these things for yourself and
And you're
make a
filling,
way
yeah, and
for
you're filling
yourself.
your own cup too. Like, I think when you're taking care of
Yes.
yourself, you feel more giving to help others. You're able to actually feel more like in tuned with what's going on, or the zone of like being able to help others, and
Yes.
collaborations and community, and you don't feel like you're being worn down all the time and stressed, where you're
Yeah, it
spending those little
definitely,
moments
yeah, I
for
think
yourself.
skincare plays a very important role in not just skin health, but in well-being, that sense of well-being. And um, there's just very few things can give you the confidence of being in a well moisturized body.
Yes.
I mean, it just feels good.
Mhm.
And I think, eh, whether it's scented or not. I mean, I know there's a lot coming out right now. I just have such ambivalent feelings about this new thing, which is how bodies are smelly and everybody stinks. It's like we need to not just deodorant, we don't just need deodorant, we need to deodorize our entire body, our entire skin. And it's like, wait, really? Because we've been here a really long time. And yeah, there are, you know, we all I don't know.
So
I'm
it
all
was
that
interesting.
way.
I was listening to a podcast talking about that. They were talking about deodorants and like the unhealthy ones and the healthy ones and all the things, but usually your body's telling you something as well,
Yeah,
right? And either
exactly.
like it's telling you something, back to kind of the skin thing, right? Like usually if you
Yeah,
have some type of odor or something happening, it's usually your body trying to tell you something. So you don't always want to mask those things up. Same with makeup, right? You don't always want to
right.
cover your face with makeup. Maybe your skin's trying to tell you something, right? That
Yeah,
you're breaking
yeah,
out in the chin area, well, your hormones are off, or this is happening, right?
absolutely.
So I think that's
Absolutely.
very similar to the scent as well.
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
some of the best sellers you have? Like, what are your go-tos that seem to be very popular, or that your kind of flagship items?
Well, um, so currently we have three products on the market. The best seller, which I'm really proud of it because it is really hard to get lotions and creams right. I
Mhm.
mean, they're just really, really hard. And we have one that is truly exceptional. And and I'm not being braggadocious about it. We worked very hard. I worked very hard on it. Um, but it is very powerful. It's very nourishing, and it's very light. And it is transformative. Like, I love this. It's our bestseller. Like,
Amazing.
there are people who are like, I remember, like, there are people who are like, oh, I'm an oil person. I just, I don't even bother with creams, and I'm just an oil person. And then they try the cream and they're like, oh my God. And they love it. And the payoff is there because creams give your skin the right cream, will give your skin, it gives you the water and it gives you the oil. And we have our cream has like 12 biomimetic carrier oils in it: broccoli seed oil, passion flower oil. It has oils that, and there's a spectrum of what I looked at. Like, there needs to be an anti, you know, bacterial element to, like,
Mhm.
oils that help deliver that function. And there's a profile of minerals and vitamins and, ceramides and all of those things that you need. And it just, so I really pushed the envelope. I developed a fragrance. In our products, you'll notice, like, the fragrance is the very last ingredient, because it was like, okay, now we've made this thing, because that was the intention. The intention is all about skin health. Okay, and some of these oils, like this oil, Nange oil, smells horrible. Tamanu oil, terrible smell. It's like, okay, now just put enough fragrance in it to cover the smell, and so we have, they're very, very, very low scented products. And it's called Keepsake Body Cream. That's our best seller. And then there's like this head to toe. I'm never without it, ever. Take it with me. I have one in the car. I have one in my bag. I'm just really never without it, because it's truly a head to heel product that, for your hair, if you have dry hair, if you need conditioner, if you need I mean, you can use it on your hair. It's amazing for your body. Like, get right out of the shower, if you feel like, and skin is different every day. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes your skin, you don't feel like your skin needs that moisture, but you need to protect it. And so you just use oil on your skin, and get, and it's just a phenomenal, phenomenal product. And then our news product, which I don't even, I think it's going to take over and be like the biggest thing, because it's just incredibly rejuvenating, is the word that I use, because you can't make certain medical claims. But this is a product that is so, like, if you have in the troubled area of skin, meaning cuts and bruises and rashes, and I mean, it is so powerfully rehabilitating. Let's say,
Mhm.
uh, it's, I mean, like, I was cutting some vegetables, and I cut my finger, and I cut not just my finger but my nail bed.
Ooh, yeah.
And I developed this product because I was during COVID, I got into the whole bread making thing, and I was
Mhm.
burning myself. So I was like, okay, I know what these ingredients do. And I would slap this stuff on a burn. And my mom was a nurse. So I'm like, really like, you don't, the whole burn treatment thing. I was like, no, I've slapped this stuff on a burn. And like the next day, it's like nothing ever happened. Like, just like
Wow.
that. It was yeah. And then, I mean, it's not just me. And so, and I gave it to, I put it out in the marketplace to test, like, wait, is this really, like, am I being prejudicial. And someone emailed me and they were like, I was in New York and I overdid it. I had unbelievable blisters on my feet. And I just like didn't know what I was going to do because I had a whole other day of being out in the city. And I took a bath and I put the balm on my feet. I woke up the next day and it was like none of that ever happened. Like I just
No
had to
way.
email and another person, I've been on steroid cream for 20 years because I have this rash and I started using, golden amends and for the first time in 20 years, I don't need it. And my skin has never looked healthier. So it just like there really are powerful products. I would say it's a matter of preference, like what it is that
Mm,
you like to, what the feel that you like in the needs of your skin. People who have skin issues, sensitive skin, they love EU2BE because it's designed for sensitive skin, dermatology tested and sensitivity tested and all
yes.
that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
There's no coconut oil in any of my products. There's no shea butter in any of my products. There's no palm oil. There's no mineral oil. There's no petroleum oil. And I am using the most high performing oils, whole oils. And those are the sorts of things that's what really works.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, it sounds like your creativeness has changed lives. Like, I'm sure that's what I love having um guests on the podcast as well as hearing like their success and the testimonials, right? Because it makes you've made a difference, right? And I think when you can create something that makes a difference and
Yeah.
customers and even loved ones' lives, and like you said, it's like, is this bomb just working for me, or is this cream
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
oil working for
Yeah.
me? And
Yeah.
knowing that it's making a difference in someone else's
Yeah.
life is
It
just
was like,
incredible.
yeah, it is really, it's fantastic when you know that you're getting, it's wonderful to hear, my child has, eczema and I've tried everything. And I mean, like those stories, I so appreciate them. I just
Mhm.
so appreciate them. And
Amazing.
I don't take any of it for granted. Yeah.
No. Is there anything that I'm not asking or anything you would like to add to today's podcast of like any even something you could tell your younger self or something to tell maybe some of our listeners to keep them motivated or passionate about creativity?
Well, I would say figure out what it means to engage your deepest self, your
Mhm.
creativity, and know and stand by the difference between, like, be, don't allow yourself to be seduced by glamour. Glamour is something that is pervasive in our culture, and glamour has its place. And I love the glamour of like your grandmother, and like different, like you just remember like getting dressed and getting dressed up and all of that. But the reality is we live in
Mhm.
we have these everyday challenges, and we live in a world that's just so fraught with so many different challenges. And it's not that the world, like people who came before us had it easier. I don't think that they did. What they didn't have, they did not have the weight of technology constantly imposing itself on us.
Mhm.
And one of the things about technology is that it just sort of, the way that it works in our universe is it just makes things magically appear and magically disappear. And it's easy to subconsciously sort of think about the the fact that if you want the answer to a question, you just need to type that question in to,
Yeah,
to a search engine, and boom, it's there. Okay, that is not how we got information before.
that's a good
And
point.
that idea of discovery, there is something powerful about discovery.
Mhm.
Discovery that's beyond just doing a simple search or listening to a single podcast even. Like allow this to be a jumping off place, and allow yourself like to make sure that like beauty is an internal experience. It's from the inside out. So I say, recognize the difference between glamour and beauty, so that you're always understand, heeding that awareness that you individually have a call to your own beauty, to set the standards, to do a practice, to cultivate a relationship with it, so that you are guided by it. Like the scientists who made all this technology
Mm,
possible, you know, it will guide you if you are attuned to it. And I think that's so important, as opposed to just sort of, allowing us to be dragged through these hoops. And because things are going to get way more complicated with the advent of AI. And you want to know what makes you real? I mean, I'm really kind of, I'm kind of talking about this like a crazy person, but I think it's real, is skin. you
mhm.
know um you're gonna you can like, skin is very real. It is very hard to make, like we've been trying to make skin in the technology. You see these people have been in terrible accidents, and skin, that is a real place of reality. And I think we're all, people are like, want to get rid of their spots and lines and freckles and all of that. You're gonna love those things, because it's gonna be the thing that makes you real, versus,
Yeah,
the kind of convoluted ways of perfection that
yeah.
AI can do,
Yeah, and you've lived the
So
life. Like, that's what I say to some of my more mature
yeah,
clients coming in. I said, "You
yeah,
deserve those smile lines, or you have,
absolutely.
like, smiled your whole life to deserve those," right? So I think it's like you're
Right.
saying, like, reframing it a little bit and making it human, making it
Well,
free to go
absolutely.
through that.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know any ugly grandmothers. I just don't.
No,
I don't
I
know.
agree
Show
with
me
you.
the ugly grandmother. I don't know that there is any. So, you know, I think, love all of you. Learn, and if you don't, you need to do the work, so that you end up, loving you to be.
Yes, I love that. Oh my goodness. I thank you so much for coming on. I feel so peaceful right now after listening to your voice, and I feel like I need to go have a bath and some moisture in my body, and I can't thank you enough for your time today,
Thank
and,
you for the
oh,
opportunity.
this is incredible, and we
Thank
will
you.
chat soon for sure.